phala. In Karma Yoga, all these doesn't exist. Is Karma Yoga, this is a statement. Action means prayatna, vigna, phala. In Karma Yoga, all this doesn't exist. Now the question, is Karma Yoga not more difficult as it involves lots of effort to control raga dvesha and we have to cross so many obstacles? Explain. First, in Karma, is Karma Yoga not more difficult? Is not Karma Yoga more difficult than ordinary action? That's all the questions. Is not Karma Yoga more difficult than ordinary action? But he says is exactly the opposite. In Karma Yoga, all these three doesn't exist. Explain. The paradox of life. The paradox of life is that which is pleasurable in the beginning ends out to be pain in the end. That which is painful in the beginning ends out to be nectarine in the end. This is the paradox. To act based on raga dvesha is natural. You don't need to tell anybody act based on your likes and dislikes. And that has become a huge talk now. Now, do that which you like to do. Follow your heart, follow your passions, follow your nose. I don't know what all you say. Now, that is, you don't need somebody to come and tell you that, because anyway everybody is doing that. And while those kind of things are very attractive because it is in line with what you are doing already. That's why those talks look like very high practical, philosophical thoughts. What is practical, philosophical thought? Act according to your likes and dislikes. They don't say act according to your likes and dislikes. They say act according to your act according to your passion. You should do that which you like to do. Adan sir Swadharma solranga. And they connect this to Swadharma also, and they say this is what exactly said in Swadharma. No. Now, impossible to explain. You follow what I am saying? So, what is the paradox? That which you are doing naturally, you don't need somebody to come and tell you, do that. That's why I said last week or previous week, one of the class I said, first you don't need a guru, you don't need a shastra to come and tell you that. If you are hungry, eat. If you are feeling sleepy, sleep. If you want to earn money, earn money. You don't need shastra, because that's what a person does anyway. And all that comes natural is detrimental. Paradox. All that comes natural to a human being is detrimental to him. Since Karma Yoga is not natural, you find it more painful than desired actions in the beginning. When you start practicing Karma Yoga, you will find it more difficult than the action that you have been doing before. Why you find it difficult is because all along you have been catering to your likes and dislikes. Now you have to do something that is not catering to your likes and dislikes. The mind doesn't cooperate. This non-cooperation of the mind in the initial stages is what you call as difficulty. The mind's non-cooperation. Mind will cooperate only when nothing can be done. When nothing can be done, mind will say, go and ask what to do. நீங்க என்ன சொன்னாலும் செய்யறதுக்கு ரெடியா இருக்கேன் சார். Now, where nothing can be, the fellow has become bankrupt, lost all the money. He is in the deficit. He is coming and asking, I am ready to do whatever you say I am ready to do. Tell me what I should do. ஒன்னும் செய்ய முடியாது. கை கட்டி கம்முன்னு you have to just wait. For you need to go through that. You follow? Now mind will cooperate when nothing can be done. When something can be done, when more or less your faculties are all right, when more or less things are normal around you, that is the time you can pick up practicing Karma Yoga. But your observation is right. Is not Karma Yoga more difficult? ஏதோ ட்ரை பண்ணியிருக்கிறார் அவர் ரவி. கிளாஸ்ல கேட்கறதெல்லாம் மறந்துடணும். கரெக்ட். கிளாஸ்ல கேட்கறதெல்லாம் மறந்துடணும். யூ கோ அண்ட் ட்ரை சம்திங் லைக் தட், ஆல் திஸ் டவுட்ஸ் will come. He has tried something, I don't know what he tried. He has found it more difficult than decided an action. He is coming and asking, what do we explain the difference? Because he thought, it becomes so easy to go. It is easy to go. It is easy to go because in Karma Yoga there is no resistance. In likes and dislikes there is a resistance. What is the resistance? There is a resistance in your own personality. One part of your personality, the higher part of your personality is detesting that. When in Karma Yoga, the higher aspect of your personality is agreeable to it. The lower will fall in line very soon. The lower will toe the line very soon. In the desired action, it is more difficult because the higher part of your personality, the higher aspect of your personality, which is the buddhi, which is wanting you to evolve, which is wanting you to grow, finds this as very disagreeable, very detesting. Therefore, the resistance. In Karma Yoga, the lower part of your personality is, the lower aspect of your personality is resisting. But that appears bigger because all along the lower has been active, pampered. Correct. All along the lower has been active and pampered. When you start doing something higher, it appears to be difficult. Controlling the children is very difficult, sir, nowadays. Abdina, what does it mean? Controlling the child is very difficult nowadays, sir. Abdina, what does it mean? You have already pampered it a lot. The pampering has already happened so much that you are not able to exercise any power on that. In the case of human beings' life, what has happened? The lower has been pampered all along. What is the lower? The raga and wish. So the mind is not cooperating and it appears to be difficult. Your observation is perfectly correct. In the beginning stages, it is extremely painful to do. It is extremely painful to do Karma Yoga. Because the pampered child is not cooperating. ரொம்ப அடம் பிடிக்கிறது. The child that is pampered is it has become too stubborn to cooperate to anything higher. Therefore you find it difficult. Neha vikramanasosti pratyavayo na vidyate swalpamatyasya dharmasya trayate mahado bhayat. Chapter 2. In chapter 2 he says, Neha vikramanasosti pratyavayo na vidyate. Verse number 41. Swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Neha vikramanashosti. Nasha na asti. Nasha na asti means there is no destruction for it. There is no loss. For what? Avikramana. There is no loss of effort in action, meaning you will get exactly what you want. See, kramanashana what? You do something and you end up getting something? Yes. Yes. Action has two problems. One is you don't get what you want. Second is you get the opposite of what you want. Asam pratyavayam is the opposite of what you want. Kramanashana means not getting what you want. He says in Karma Yoga, these two doesn't exist. Abdinna, you will get exactly what you want and the opposite also you will not get. Abdinna, what a guarantee against the insecurities of life. What a guarantee against the fluctuations of life. This is a guarantee against insecurities. No. This is a guarantee against the fluctuations of life. Karma Yoga. In this, the mind will not cooperate in the beginning. Because the tendency is what? To act based on Raga and Dvesha. Raga Dvesha act panni, it has become a kind of natural that the higher becomes difficult. Why it is so we don't know. This is the paradox of life. That's why I started by saying. You don't have to train a person to indulge. It will happen naturally. Imagine indulgence to be trained and discipline is natural, na? Correct. Gita Tevella, Krishna Tevella, Arjuna Tevella, Sunday class Tevella, all will be Buddhas only. Correct? If discipline were to be natural and indiscipline has to be trained. Supposing lot of effort has to be put to turn indulgent. Now life is so. Correct. We know exactly what to do, what not to do. Yeah. See, animals don't have this possibility of indulgence at all. Animals don't have the possibility of indulgence at all. Human being alone has the potential for indulgence, meaning the opposite also exists. The potential for a conscious discipline. Conscious discipline is always painful. Asam Karma Yoga is painful. Why Karma Yoga is painful is because any conscious discipline is painful. Has lot of effort. Is frustrating. Therefore, it appears to be difficult. Is Karma Yoga not more difficult? Yes, it is difficult. Is discipline not more difficult than indulgence? Of course it is. Because the intensity of the indiscipline is so high, all of them. The intensity of the indiscipline is so high. Today technically, the tamas is so high. You have to say the same thing technically. The tamas is so high that you find it extremely difficult. Yes. Putting up with the difficulty is titiksha. Tam titikshasva bharata. Agamapayino nityaha tam titikshasva bharata. Matra spashastu Contd sitoshna sukha dukkadaha agamapayino nityaha tam titikshasva bharata. It is agamapayinaha, it is anityaha. Agamapayinaha போயிட்டு வந்து இருக்கும். அனித்யான்னா போயிட்டு வரும்போது it doesn't stay.
ஓகே வந்துட்டு கொஞ்ச நாள் இருந்துட்டு போகுமான்னு அது கூட கிடையாது. As it comes it is anitya, as it is staying it is anitya, as it leaves also it is anitya. இது வந்து போயின்னு இருக்கும். At the same time it is impermanent also. But difficult to understand this. Practice titiksha. What is practicing titiksha? When you try to do this karma yoga, when you try to do this tapas, the mind doesn't cooperate. But you still pursue with it. And you still pursue with it. Continue with it. What gives you the motivation to pursue? What gives you the conviction to pursue? Either the conviction in the Shastra or the conviction in the Guru. இது ரெண்டு தான். ரெண்டுத்துல ஏதாவது ஒன்று இருந்தாலும் you can pursue with conviction. Again I repeat, it is painful, then what will motivate a person to pursue that? It is said in the Shastra, therefore, whether I like it or not, I will do. It is said by the Guru, whether I like it or not, I will do. But it is very difficult to know, sir. How will the Guru know that whether it is? How will the Guru know? Unless I go and tell him. If I go and tell him it is very difficult what to do, he will immediately say, he says do that. And you come back and say, it is very difficult. Now what to do? He says, don't worry, another janma. Why? Because you have not yet developed the conviction to pursue. You have not yet developed the conviction. So what he will say, what the Shastra says, okay, don't worry, one more sharira, one more janma. Nevertheless, at any point of time, this will be the case. Whether you do it now or whether you do it 10 janmas later, this will be the case. What? It will be tough. It will be tough only. Let me go through the tough portions now and be free of it. Now, karma yoga becomes easy. What will give you the motivation to? Because in the raga dvesha, what is motivating in raga dvesha? The hope that the fruit is going to come is the motivation there. Raga dvesha action la edu motivation. The phala, the fruit, the result that you are going to get is the driving force there. That's why you say, no, innu more effort pata phala vandru. Innu more effort pata you will get the fruit. So you can pump yourself with more and more energy. You can pump yourself with more and more activity as long as the hope on the fruit is maintained. The moment the hope about the fruit is dropped, instantly what happens? All energy going back to square one. Activity neutral. You follow? Now in raga dvesha, what gives energy? The hope on the fruit. In karma yoga, what is the motivation? The Shastras have said so. Once you do it with a little bit of understanding, your intellect will understand. Once you do yourself, that it is said in the Shastras, therefore I will do it, and you continue it for a while, the intellect understands. Then you don't need Shastras, then you don't need anybody. Even if they come and say exactly the opposite, you will say, no. Even if the Shastra were to say, okay, one day relax, one day indulge, your intellect will say, no. Why? Because you have developed a conviction. You can't wait for the conviction to come. As you are trying to develop conviction, you need to pursue karma yoga also. You need to practice karma yoga also. what happens is, either one set mechanically practices and don't make an effort to understand at all. In this classroom, we will not make an effort to do and wait for understanding to happen. Understanding I think abde easy avundrumilla. Then I will put all my energies to understand that. And the first step in understanding is doing. Correct. The first step in understanding is doing. Angava you are caught in the vicious cycle. Whether doing comes first or understanding comes first. A professor will come and say, understanding comes first. A Ramana Maharishi, Shankaracharya will come and say, doing comes first. You ask a professor, technically he will say, understanding is mukyam. Once understanding comes, everything will fall in place. Therefore understand. Don't do anything. Wait. But understanding money. You go to a Shankaracharya, you go to a Ramana, you go to a Gautam Buddha, he will say, understanding Varmundra is correct, but what is the first step for understanding? Doing. But the doing Ravi is saying is and the doing Ravi is saying it is very painful. What to do? Do. Correct. What to do? Do. Painful. Doesn't matter. Do. What do we? All along understanding, weight, knowledge, we are so happy that we don't have to do anything. Suddenly you say, even for understanding, the first step is for doing cheating. We didn't come for doing. We came here for understanding. You follow? Are you able to follow? It's not that complicated. It is appearing complicated because of the paradox. What is the paradox? Always understand this paradox. That which comes natural to a human being is detrimental. That which is evolutionary comes through knowledge and effort. Knowledge and effort. That's why I am giving examples. Indulge pannuma solnuma. You don't need to tell the senses indulge. You don't need to tell the mind to get attached. You have to get attached. Adellame solli kodukona coma stage la irukkrana. Only when the man is in coma you have to say get that. Well, you don't have to tell the mind get. You don't have to tell the senses indulge. You don't have to tell the senses indulge. You don't have to tell the mind get attached. For it happens by itself. You have to tell the mind don't get attached. You have to tell the senses practice control. Which is, having said it is natural for the senses to indulge, because natural means it is right, no? When it comes to a human being, natural doesn't mean it is right. To get angry is natural. Does that mean anger becomes right? To get jealous is natural. You don't need to train a person to get jealous. It is natural. Envy is natural. No, just keep getting more and more jealous. We say, though it is natural, doesn't mean it is right. You follow? For a human being, the paradox. All that is evolutionary, the starting point of it is knowledge and effort. All that is devolutionary, the starting point of it is easy. Amrutam and Visham, 18th chapter. The 18th chapter of the Gita, he said it. Again, வேற மாதிரி மாத்தி சொல்றான் அவ்வளவுதான். The 18th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, he said, as a law, all that is pleasurable in the beginning is painful at the end. All that is painful in the beginning turns out to be pleasurable at the end. Are you okay till now? Buddhi is the capacity to see the end in the beginning. That's buddhi. The function of the buddhi, the function of the intellect is the capacity to see the end in the beginning. That's why people come and say, ஆரம்பத்திலே தெரிஞ்சிருந்தா I would have avoided. No, அந்த பண்ணாமே விட்டுருப்பேன். But ஆரம்பத்திலே தெரியாது போச்சு. You follow? Capacity to see the end in the beginning is what buddhi is all about. What is the capacity to see the end in the beginning? That which is pleasurable in the beginning turns out to be painful at the end. Now you can't see it by yourself. It is the Shastra that is coming and teaching you. It is the Shastra that is coming and teaching you, and it is very difficult to accept the Shastra because why it is difficult to accept the Shastra is because we have seen this any number of times. Knowledge is gained through 4 sources. Pratyaksha, Anumana, Upamana, Shabda. Pratyaksha is direct perception. Upamana is comparison. Then comes Anumana, inference. All that the Shastra says doesn't fit under these 3. That is why it is difficult to accept the Shastra. Because Shastra says, take the example, that which is pleasurable in the beginning turns out to be painful at the end. இதுக்கு ஏதாவது எக்ஸெப்ஷன் இருக்கா? No, according to 18th chapter. The 18th chapter he said it very clearly. Is there any exceptions to that? No. All that is pleasurable in the beginning turns out to be painful at the end. Correct? Either which you can understand. Can you understand it through Pratyaksha? No. Can you understand it through inference? You can see everybody around you, but still you will not be able to understand. See, you have not yet died. You are still alive. You see death all around, and you infer that you are also going to die one day. Correct? But does this inference stir up anything in you? Does this inference make you have sleepless night? Abdinna, inference is not a, even though you are saying it, you actually have not understood. So, Pratyaksha is not helpful. Anumanam is not helpful. Comparison again. Comparison is what? Look at a great man. Avangala partha it is more. See a Krishna or see a Ramana, it is, that comparison is far more confusing than giving any clarity. Therefore, you have no choice but to accept the 4th as the pramanam to understand the statement. What is the statement? That which is pleasurable in the beginning is painful at the end. All that is painful in the beginning turns out to be nectarine at the end. இதை பிரத்யக்ஷத்தால புரிஞ்சுக்க முடியுமா? Does your pratyaksha teach you that? Does inference teach you this? Does anumana teach you this? It is the Shastra that comes and tells you. Now when they tell you, you make an effort to understand. They tell you with some logic, they tell you with some reason, you try and follow and try to understand. That understanding will make you a very good professor. For you have not done the effort. For you have not done the effort. In the 1930s, one of the man, the Harvard University used to send a flight, used to fly the professor down from India. From Chennai, that fellow will fly to Harvard, teach and come back. You know the professor's name? You know who was that professor? Which Harvard did it for many, many years? He is called Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan. S. Radhakrishnan, Harvard used to send. And Radhakrishnan writes, after finishing a tour and all that, he comes back, goes to Ramana Maharshi and falls at his feet, saying, please teach me. Ramana said, you are flying and Harvard level you are teaching, what can I teach you? Till the last breath of his life, he wasn't convinced about what he was teaching. In this classroom, we are trying to avoid that. In this classroom, we are trying to avoid that because we all have become Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan long ago. Prasad, very correct. I like this confession. Long ago, we have become chance good to farm, sir, he is saying. Yes. Venkata wondered. That man came on Thursday. Correct, no? That man came on Thursday. One man called. I don't know. Law of attraction, law of karma, it happens only in Chitra's house. All the way to know the attraction. Nowhere else it happens in that much. Yeah. In your house it never happens. In Ganesh's house it happened only once. Yeah, ஒரே ஒரு ஆள் தான் வந்து சொன்னார். சார் நீங்க இல்லாத போது கிளாஸ் எல்லாம் கேன்சல் பண்ணாதுன்னு நான் வந்து எடுத்துடுறேன். You are not there. Don't worry, I will come. I couldn't control my. Otherwise people think நான் போய் சொல்றேன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். அதனால வெங்கட்ட பேச சொன்னேன். வெங்கட் நீங்களும் பேச பாருங்க, நான் கேட்டது கரெக்ட் தான். Correct. I am teaching already. I said, okay, very good. Very good. I said, see, I don't have corporate control on anybody. Proprietorship is correct. If Chitra agrees and all the people listen, you come and conduct the class. What control? What control? I have. I couldn't control my. And then he said, and example, umulting சொன்னார்ல அவரு, last day யஜ்ஞால என்ன நடந்துச்சுன்னு he said, no. See, last day somebody had a question. They gave me the question paper. I went and told Sunandaji, the question இருக்குது, what do you do? About 5 minutes answer பண்ணிடுறேன், leave it on my desk. So I left it, she answered, I believe. அதுக்கு that man, அதெல்லாம் அவங்க சொல்லியிருக்கிறதே வேணாம், நானே ஆன்சர் பண்ணிருப்பேன். No karma yoga, no practice. He thinks what philosophy means. அவ்வளவுதான். சும்மா உட்காந்து ஒரு இதுக்கு ஒரு மணி நேரம் பேசினா that is. When Radhakrishnan went, Ramana said, learned person I can't teach. Look at the sarcasm. A learned person like you and I can't teach, because compared to Radha Krishnan, Ramana doesn't know. Ramana doesn't know that many scriptures. Ramana doesn't know that many. Yeah. Just doing Sravana and Manana, you become a very good professor. You will tell this to others, but what you will be following? That which is pleasurable in the beginning, you will take to that. That which is painful in the beginning, you will avoid that. Even though you give a lecture to others. Are you able to follow? The second way is, what these great enlightened masters come and say is, as you are trying to understand, simultaneously practice. Simultaneously practice. And you find people always doing only one. Either they study and understand and don't practice, or practice without understanding. When they practice when control is practiced without understanding, it is frustration. When only understanding happens and no effort is done, no practice is done, he becomes a very good professor. Yeah. That's why traditionally, culturally, in some of the families they say, no, Chumma Vedantam pesada they talk, no? Chumma Vedanta don't talk. Meaning? Do. Do. Technically I am explaining why it is difficult. Because you have none of the pramanams that you know of gives you any conviction about this. Therefore what? You have no choice but to take a risk and do. That's what he says, plunge. That's what he calls it as, Swamiji calls it as plunge. You have to take up. As you take it, after, very quickly he says in the Gita, very soon you will understand how the Shastra Vakyas are gospel truth. Then you come to realize how it is so simple that I have been missing it for so long. You understand that? I explained through the mind, I explained through the examples and stories, and I explained technically why it is difficult, because there is no pramanam that gives you the conviction. In fact, all other pramanams gives you the opposite conviction. In fact, they teach you the opposite. If somebody is doing tapasana, we feel, you power sympathetic. Why are you doing this, no? Enna kashtam. Adukella utradingo. Continue the indulgence. Appo konja kashtam la varum. Adu go through. Don't stop. Don't stop indulgence. Continue your indulgence. Seriya? Is it okay? Ravi.
So when you say there is no effort, it's a later stage. In the beginning you have.
In the beginning it is effort only.
Once you have patience and continue doing.
Yes.
No effort.
Yes. Effortlessness comes out of much effort. Effortlessness comes out of much effort.
Effortless, but it's not that there is no effort. Effort you will continue to do now.
When something is appearing effortless, it means much effort has gone into it. If something is appearing effortless, means much effort has gone into it. What is the starting point of effortlessness? Effort. Much effort. You can't start with effortlessness. Krishna is not saying that. He didn't say, Arambhathile effortlessness will be. Effortlessly he didn't say. Very soon it will become effortless. What are all the effortlessness? That later on, I am not going into that details. We have seen that. From Sharira Buddhi, you will become Jiva Buddhi. From Jiva Buddhi, you will develop the conviction in the self, and you attain moksha, liberation. Idallam pandradhanala, you get to that. But the effortlessness comes with much effort, and the starting point of effortlessness is effort. Much effort. Knowledge helps you in the beginning in only one angle. What? Whether you like it or not, do it. Whether you like it or not, do it. Because the Shastras have no other intention other than our welfare. When they say something, they don't have any other intention other than the welfare. In the poem Pond, when the mother told chick. Correct. When the mother told the chick, don't go near water. The chick said, what did the chick say? I am remarkably fond of water. I am remarkably fond of water. The chick could not understand. In that statement of don't go near water, your pain is not intended. Your suffering is not intended. Your welfare is the intention. So you swallow that. You understand that it is for your own welfare. You swallow that. What do you swallow? The pain you swallow, and even though you are remarkably fond of water, you don't enter. Touch பண்ணிட்டு வந்து சும்மா I did not swim well, but at least அப்படியே கால் மிதிச்சுட்டு வந்து சும்மா at least yeah. Don't go anywhere near. ஏன்னா கால் வைக்கும் போது you will be dragged. You will be dragged inside. Okay? Effortlessness comes out of much effort. In the world, no point it is effortless. In the world, actions are always with effort only. Effortlessness doesn't come at all as far as worldly actions are concerned. Effortlessness in the true sense comes only to Karma Yoga. Again I repeat, in the worldly actions, effortlessness doesn't exist at all. When I say that, you have to put so much of effort to come to a level in the world. More effort has to be done to maintain that level. More effort has to be done to maintain that level. And how much ever you maintain that level, how much ever you try to maintain that level, deterioration happens. How much ever Federer tries to maintain that level, he is 37, 38 already, no. A 17-year-old fellow will come and, the 17-year-old fellow will come and beat him in straight set. One day he will lose, 6-0, 6-0, 6-0, he will lose. Effortless continue ஆயினே இருக்கணும்ல. In the worldly actions, you do a lot of effort, reach a peak, and you have to do more effort to maintain that peak only to deteriorate. So Kramanasham garde word 100%. Iha, in Karma Yoga, there is no Kramanasham. Are you able to understand the difference now? In the world, effortlessness cannot be, even if it comes, more effort has to be done to maintain that. And much more effort has to be done to avoid the deterioration, and deterioration anyway happens. Yeah. That's why they say gracefully exit. அதெல்லாம் கேட்க நல்லா இருக்கும். You cannot gracefully exit la. You will exit only with you will exit only with pain and frustration. Kramanasham is the nature of the worldly actions. Here there is no Kramanasham, means exactly the opposite. What happens? You have evolved to 60% of detachment, that 60% deterioration is very difficult to fall down after that. If you have developed 80% of development, much more difficult to fall down. That's what he is meant by. The fall doesn't happen here. Arjuna said, okay Krishna, but if I die, what will happen? Setupona Tiruppi I start, ABC then all over. What happens here? He says, don't worry. Here it doesn't happen. Nahi kalyana pratkachit durgatin tata gacchati. Durgatin rave, for a person who has done kalyana krit. Durgati doesn't exist. Now, idalla Shastra Pramanam which you have to take it in the beginning. Later on you will come to understand how these are all true. In the beginning you just have to accept it. Okay? From any angle you look at it, this is how it works. சரியா? என்ன பண்ணி கஷ்டப்பட்டாரோ தெரியல. Yes, come with this question. Continue. Continue that. Don't stop. Okay? சொல்லுப்பா.
How to come out of Sharira Buddhi?
How to come out of Sharira Buddhi? 3-year course. E-learning, continuous Shravana, Manana. I'm not joking. It's not easy to come out of that Sharira Buddhi. All that we are trying in these classrooms, all that we are trying is what? We don't try anything other than that in this classroom. You need to keep hearing this again and again and again. And you need to tell yourself this again and again and again. I am the Jiva, not the Sharira. I am the Jiva, not the Sharira. Now the first level of detachment. And then you say, I am not the Jiva, I am Brahma. At the first level you say, I am not the Sharira, I am the Jiva. If you understand that you are the Jiva, knowledge, the sense of urgency will come. The moment you understand that you are the Jiva, knowledge, detachment will happen. You will not be attached to all that you are attached to now, just drops. Because you know, this is what you have been doing for ever. You follow? So, how to get detached? Understand, repeat this I gave some knowledge, some analysis, some explanation I did. Don't worry. In some other context, again we will do it. And the context is waiting. And the context again we will start doing the same analysis. You do it by yourself regularly. You get out of the Sharira Buddhi, and you will understand that you are the Jiva. Shariratma, Jivatma, Paramatma. Atma means you, the self, the I. That I can say Sharira, that I can say Jiva, that I can say Aham Brahmasmi. The I can identify with any of this. Straight away you can't identify with Paramatma. Straight away you can't identify with Brahma and say Aham Brahmasmi. You can't say this straight away. You need to go in steps. What is the first step? I am not this. I am not this Sharira. I am not this Sharira. I am not this Sharira. சொல்லினே இருக்கணும் டெய்லி. எவ்வளவு ரிப்பீட் பண்றீங்களோ அவ்வளவு it is good. Good for you and good for those around you also. Because when you get detached, it's not only good for you, it is good for those who are around you also. You know that? Don't think detachment is good only for you. When you get detached, the detachment is good for you and the detachment is good for those around you also. Yeah. There you say, Aham Sharira. Then you understand Aham Jiva. And then from Aham Jiva to say Aham Brahma. Aham Brahma Asmi. Aham Brahma Asmi. As a Mahavakya. Aham Brahma Asmi. Aham Brahma Asmi. See, at one point of time, it was done morning, noon and night. At one point of time, morning, noon and night it was done. Today it is stopped. In the Sandhya prayers, you repeat it. Asavadityo Brahma, Brahmaivaham Asmi. Asavadityo Brahma, Brahmaivaham Asmi. சொல்லிட்டு அங்க 2 நிமிஷம் உட்கார்ந்துருக்கணும் போயிட்டா. கடகடகடகடன் ஆதித்யம் தர்ப்பயாமி. You should not. அவசரப்பட்டு நம்ம ஓடக்கூடாது. People run. Yeah, I still remember. Where I was doing all the, my God, so religiously, so this thing I used to do all this. I still remember. He told me, Asavadityo Brahma, Brahmaivaham Asmi. Actually, you have to Asavadityo Brahma, Brahmaivaham Asmi. So little you should stay. You should pass there and stay there. Adu mudiyalana start again. Adu mudiyalana start again. So this was done as an everyday practice. Nitya karmava thrice it is done. Today it is not. Hey, நம்ம ஒரு கிளாஸ்ல உட்கார்ந்து கேட்க வேண்டியது இதெல்லாம். You follow? It was done. Asavadityo Brahma. Correct தானே? மூணு வாட்டி சொல்றீங்க. Brahmaivaham Asmi. Asavadityo Brahma, Brahmaivaham Asmi. Asava Asya Aditya Brahma Eva Aham Asmi. அது புரியலைன்னா காயத்ரி சொல்லி புத்தியை டெவலப் பண்ணிக்கணும். Are you able to follow? If you don't understand that, you need to do Gayatri and develop the buddhi. So that one day when you say Asavadityo Brahma, Brahmaivaham Asmi, now you will be established in that. So when you keep saying, I am this, I am that, it is already implied that you have understood that you are the Jiva. Who is saying that? The Jiva is saying that, not the Sharira. Today, we have started to say, Aham aham sharira stage vandadunala knowledge la compromise panni we have to say aham jiva, and that jiva says no, even jiva is not me, aham brahmaivasmi. Brahma eva asmina என்ன அர்த்தம்? நான் அதுவாகவே இருக்கிறேன். Present continuous அது. Permanency அது. It doesn't change. Correct. நான் அதுவாகவே இருக்கிறேன். It is the present. It doesn't. அதாவது present continuous தான் அது. Yeah, grammar I am not that. It doesn't change. It remains the same. You follow? That's how you do this. There is no one particular part of knowledge that will help you. The entire knowledge is supposed to help you to move from Sharira Buddhi to Jiva. Clear? Okay? Question that he asked is how to get enlightened. That's the question. The question that he asked is how to get enlightened. How to get enlightened? Karma yoga, bhakti yoga, adallam pananum. Pannada you will get enlightened. Adukalla enna pananum? We have to do a lot of Shravana and Manana. Sivajnanam. சரியா? Auspicious knowledge னு பேர் தான் வச்சுன்னு இருக்கிறாரு. இல்லையா? ஞானம் means knowledge, சிவம்னா auspicious. So சிவஞானம்னா auspicious, worldly knowledge எல்லாம் இல்ல. Auspicious knowledge. What is that auspicious knowledge? Aham Brahma Asmi. சரியா? Okay? இந்த வருஷம் படிங்க. Verse number 20.
कर्मफलासङ्गम् नित्यतृप्तो निराश्रयः कर्मण्यभिप्रवृत्तोऽपि नैव किञ्चित् करोति सः त्यक्त्वा कर्मफलासङ्गम् नित्यतृप्तो निराश्रयः कर्मण्यभिप्रवृत्तोऽपि नैव किञ्चित् करोति सः.
Having renounced attachment to fruit of action, ever content, depending on nothing, he does not do anything though he is engaged in action. न एव किंचित करोति सह न एव किंचित करोति सह means that person किंचित ना துளி கூட எதுவுமே பண்றது இல்லையா. though he is कर्मणि अभिप्रवृत्तः अपि कर्मणि अभिप्रवृत्तः अपि न though engaged in action न एव किंचित करोति यारो सह whoever it is. Abhinna, what does it mean? He does not do anything though doing everything. Feel the same correct or good? Whether he is doing or not doing. Mati இந்த மாதிரி பேசினே இருந்தா how will you not get confused? Clear? He says though na eva kinchit. Look at the word that he is using. Na eva kinchit. Kinchit na drop, minutest thing. That's kinchit. He doesn't do anything though he is doing everything. And he has his understanding that I am not the doer. I am not the doer. That understanding. I am not the doer. அப்படின்னா யார் பண்றாங்க? அந்த கவலை எனக்கு இல்லை. I am not the, then who is doing? அது பார்க்கிறவனோட ப்ராப்ளம். Are you able to follow? You can't ask him. He says, I am not the doer. But then I am seeing you doing so many things. Then who is doing all this? That is your problem. Because you are seeing me doing. இந்த சப்த பிரமாணம் இதுக்கு தான் எடுத்துக்கவே கூடாதுன்றது. Because they talk so almost bordering on a drunken state, almost blabbering, and yet beautiful verses. Does not do anything, though doing everything. See, இதெல்லாம் எப்படி கிடைச்சது அவருக்கு? Having renounced attachment to fruit of action. But the choice of words, இதுதான் மன்னனா பண்ணணும்ன்றது. He is saying, renouncing attachment to the fruit of action. Action பண்ண ஒரு fruit வரும். But he has renounced his attachment to the fruit of action. He is not saying, I don't want fruit, he is not saying. எப்படி இதெல்லாம் தான் கொஞ்சம் ரிஃப்ளெக்ஷன் பண்ணணும். He is not saying, I don't want fruit. He is not saying, there will not be a fruit. He is not saying that. He is only saying, Yattva Karma Pala Sangam. Karma Palathilendu Asangam. He has detached himself from having renounced what? He didn't renounce the fruit, he has renounced attachment to the fruit. Adnala, whatsoever comes, he is okay. That's correct. So, action will produce a phala. Now, you can only renounce your attachment to the phala. You cannot renounce the phala itself. You can't do that. And action will produce a phala. Yadunala, he is able to do that. Or he has understood, action means it will produce 4 types of. Yes. No, Raghu is getting irritated. Yeah, he thinks like this. Now one more addition to the agitation group. Yeah. That's so action will produce fruit. What type of fruit it will produce? The 4 types. What are the 4 types? Opposite. So action பண்ணா இந்த 4த்துல ஏதாவது ஒன்று வரத்தான் வரும். But you can detach yourself from all the 4. அதுதான் having renounced attachment to fruit of action. அது எப்படி சார் எது வந்தாலும் how is he able to accept? Because he has already understood. What he understood? எதை renounce பண்ணணும், எதை renounce பண்ண முடியாது. Attachment can be renounced. The fruit cannot be. That's why throughout the Gita he says, renouncing attachment to the fruit of action. Renouncing attachment to the fruit of action. Renouncing attachment to the fruit of action. அதை renounce பண்ணணும். ஃப்ரூட்டே வேண்டாம்னு சும்மா உட்கார முடியாது. ஃப்ரூட்டே வேண்டாம்னா சும்மா தான் உட்காரணும். which is not நனே கஷ்ட க்ஷணமபி ஜாது திஷ்டத்ய கர்மக்ருத் சரீர யாத்ராபி ஜதேன சும்மாவும் இருக்க முடியாது. இதையும் பண்ணக்கூடாது. என்னதான்? What should a person do? Renounce attachment to the fruit of action. If you do that, what happens? Nitya Triptaha, ever contented. Nitya Triptaha. In the understanding on the person who's got this understanding, how he will be? Nitya Triptaha, Nirashraya. Ever content, depending on nothing. He has renounced attachment to the fruit of action. he is ever content, he is depending on nothing, that person says, I don't do anything, though he is doing 24/7. He is the most dynamic actor, he is the most dynamic worker, and yet he says, I am not doing anything. ஓ அப்படின்னா காட் பண்றாரா எல்லாம்? You don't know what God is also, no? So that also doesn't mean, so I am not doing anything, God is doing everything. Don't bring in, there is no need to bring in a doer. Correct. அந்த doerங்கிற கான்செப்டே தேவையில்லைங்கிறது தான் கர்மயோகா. ரவி, இந்த doerங்கிறது இட்ஸ் நாட் necessary because nothing in nature has the so nature teaches you that doership as such is the appendix. Unnecessarily it is sticking. So what this man has done, he has cut that. Beautiful verse. Having renounced attachment to fruit of action, ever content, depending on nothing, he does not do anything, though he is engaged in action. Na eva kinchit karoti abhipravrittah. Abhipravrittah na constantly engaged in action. Constantly engaged. Engaged in what? Engaged in what? Doing that which he ought to do. Pravrittila he is abhipravrittah. Nivritti he doesn't do. Because actions is up to pravritti and nivritti. That which ought to be done, that which ought not to be done. Abhipravrittah. He does that which ought to be done 24/7 and still says, I am not the doer. What has he eliminated? The doership he has eliminated the doership. So we have understood. Doership is ajnanam. The doership is because of ignorance. The doership is existing because of ignorance. Where jnanam has come, why will that person have any doership? You know? Doership exists because of what? Because of ignorance. This person doesn't have that. Ignorance leads to doership. Ignorance is doership. Leads to kuda solla thevilla. Ignorance na doership ignorance na. What is doership? Aham karta. I am the doer. Since I am the doer, I have all the legitimate right to do. I have all the right to expect the fruit and enjoy the fruit. Fruit vanda tweak artham kuduthirukuraadu. I have all the right to expect the fruit and enjoy it too. Why? Because I am the doer. The fan says, நான் தான் காத்து கொடுக்கிறேன். Electricity says, நான் இல்லைன்னா you can't do anything. அதுதான் Kena Upanishad. That's what happened in Kena Upanishad. இல்லையா? அந்த gridல கட் பண்ணா what will you do? You can't do anything. So, the doership is ignorance. Knowledge comes and says, you are not the doer. Then who's the doer? The doer ஒன்று வைக்கணுன்ற அவசியமே கிடையாது. Sankhya came and said, Prakriti is the doer. As in English they say, nature does everything. Science says nature does everything. No, Sankhya they have said it wrong, but nature does everything. ஏன்னா ஏதோ ஒரு டூவர் ஒன்று வச்சாதான் there is a satisfaction. யாரோ ஒரு டூவர்னு இருக்கணும் இல்லையா? அட்லீஸ்ட் பிரகிருத்தினாவது சொல்லணும், அட்லீஸ்ட் குணாத்னாவது சொல்லணும், அட்லீஸ்ட் காட்னாவது சொல்லணும். பட் யூ நீட் சம்படி டு சே as well டூவர். ஏன்னா ஈகோன்றதுக்கு ஏதோ ஒரு டூவர்னு ஒன்று இருக்கணும்ன்றதுதான் கான்செப்ட் ஃபார் த ஈகோ. ஐன்றது it's not so much. So if there is a doer, now the ego will go and say, the ego will attach, the ego will go and attach itself to that. So that is why the ego always tries to establish that there is a doer. The doer when established பண்ணியாச்சுன்னா ego, for the ego it is easy to attach itself and say I am that. Knowledge comes and says there is no need to bring in a doer at all. This person has understood. Crux enna, you need to understand this. Having renounced the fruit of action கிடையாது. Having renounced attachment to the fruit of action. அப்படின்னா என்ன அர்த்தம்? Action will produce a fruit, and whatsoever the fruit is, I am okay with it. Now, I have no particular expectation. This is what he says. Having renounced attachment to fruit of action, ever content. நித்திய திருப்தக. இந்த ஜீவாத்மாவால திருப்தோஸ்மின்னு சொல்லவே முடியாது, அகம் திருப்தகன்னு சொல்லவே முடியாது இல்லையா? லைஃப் எப்படி போயின்னு இருக்கு? ஹாப்பியா சந்தோஷமா இருக்கான்னு சொல்ல முடியாது. ஏதோ போயின்னு இருக்கு சார். திருப்தி அசெட் doesn't exist. Here this man is nitya tripta, ever content. Nirashraya, எது மேலையும் ஆசிரயம் இல்லை. நீ ஆசிரய, நீ பிளஸ் ஆசிரய கம்பைன்ஸ் நிராசிரய. எது மேலையும் ஒரு ஆசிரயம்னா டிபெண்டன்சி. டிபெண்டன்சி மீன்ஸ் what is dependency? My happiness is on that. My mental state is decided by that object or being. This is called dependency. Opposite of that is self-sufficiency. What is self-sufficiency means? Likes and dislikes fulfill agana kuda this person is contented. Abdinna enartham object and beings alone left, far behind they are left. Are you able to follow? See, ever content is not about objects and beings. Objects and beings is also the initial stage. But what is the ideal state? Even when your likes and dislikes are not met with, your internal state remains the same. That state is called self-sufficiency. So what is happening to this man? He is detached from the fruit of action. He is ever nityatraptaha, not dependent upon anything. அப்படின்னா இவர் கண்டிப்பா 24/7 தூங்கினேதான் இருப்பாரு ஒரு இல்லையா? சும்மாதான். Because இதெல்லாம் ஆயிடுச்சுன்னா then why will a person act? He acts because avipravrittaha. He does this pravritta karma he does. Karma is up to pravritti and nivritti. Pravritti means that which ought to be done. Nivritti means that which ought not to be done. So he continues doing that which ought to be done and says, I am not doing anything. Saha. Whoever does it is a great sage, is a great man. Whoever does it is a great person. Yes, Raghu.
For the reason, if you want to be ever content and independent, then you need to have these three things, which is do your obligatory duties, accept the fruit
Yes.
of the action,
Yes.
the task,
Yes.
and understand that there is no real need for doership.
Correct.
If you need to be like that, then
You must do this. Correct. இந்த மூணும் பண்ணாதான், இந்த மூணு பிராக்டிஸ் பண்ணாதான் அது வரும். ஆனா இந்த மூணு பண்றது,
what is the third one? Understand the lack of need for doership. I did, you did. It's just a thing.
Correct. No doership. I did. There is no I did. There is no you did. Correct. அதுதான் யஜ்ஞமா மாறிட்டு இருக்காங்க. When I say I am not doing, and when I say you are there, there is no I am doing, there is no you are doing, but some doing is happening. What is that called? Yajna. That's called Yajna. Yajnarthan karmanon yatra lokoyam karma bandhana. Third chapter, verse number 10. Sorry, verse number 9. Third chapter. He says, this world is bound by actions other than yajna. Beautifully he says, this world is bound by actions other than yajna. And what is yajna? And the doership indrade சேவை இல்லன்றதுதான் யஜ்ஞம். You articulated it well. I did. அதனால அவர்கிட்ட மைக்க கொடுத்து 3 நாள் பேசுவோம் நாங்க போட்டுருக்கு. ஆர்டிகுலேட் நல்லா பண்றாருன்னா மைக்க கொடுத்தாங்க அவர்கிட்ட. இன்னும் அவருக்கு அதான் பெர்மனன்ட் ஜாப்பா? அவருக்கு தெரியுமா அது? அவருக்கு தெரியுமா? சொல்லுங்க அவர்கிட்ட. ஏன்னா இங்க வந்து ஒரு வாட்டி பிடிச்சா சந்தோஷத்தெல்லாம் கிடையாது, மாற்றுறதுன்னு அவருக்கு தெரியல. கரெக்டா? சரியா ரகு? 3 things. What are the 3 things? Ever no attachment to fruit of action. அது அவர் சொன்னது. I am not repeating what Raghu said. I am saying what Krishna is saying. What Krishna is saying. Ever content, not dependent on anything, doing that which ought to be avipravrittaha. That is very important. He is doing that which ought to be done. Nivritti karma பண்றதே கிடையாது, பிரவೃತ್ತಿ கர்மா பண்ணிண்டே தான் இருக்கிறாரு. பண்ணிண்டே இருக்கணும்ன்றது சாதனை. பண்ணிண்டே இருக்காருன்னா மோட்சம். He has attained enlightenment. Are you able to follow? பண்ணிண்டே இருக்கணும்னா that is the sadhana, the tapas. But பண்ணிண்டே இருக்காருன்னா he has attained moksha. Here he is talking about the person who has attained that moksha. Even when he says this is the person has attained moksha and he has these qualities. Now what is corollary? You are right. We need to practice that to get there. You need to practice that. What is it? Doership ன்றது தேவையில்லை. If doership is not necessary, if doership doesn't exist for me, doership doesn't exist for anybody. Anga what happens? whether the person does good action, bad action, right action, wrong action, efficient action, inefficient action, you accommodate? You are able to mentally accommodate? All. You are able to mentally accommodate all. You don't have a hatred towards? You will never have a hatred or frustration towards anybody or anything. Illana, the inefficiency of other agitates you, no? How can a person be so inefficient? Now, who are you to? Who are you? As a writer? I can't tolerate others' inefficiency. Now, who's going to tolerate your inefficiency? But then, no. Adu tappu, sir. I am the best. Adha ego. Are you able to follow? So, when you understand it like this, so many things opens up, as in eliminating all the so-called big problems of life. Are you able to follow? But objectively we should correct noses. Yeah, I will rupa. But objectively we should correct noses. Sarla Salamataro. Objectively we should correct no Arvindan. But are you the teacher too? Are you the teacher to do that? Or only the teacher has to do that. I need not do that. For what I need to understand, I need to work accommodating everything. That is called cooperative endeavor. That's called cooperative endeavor. Illana, inefficiency of others agitates you so much. Vedanta is not saying accept that inefficiency, but you need to understand that person will be inefficient. The inefficiency of another is giving you agitation. You are dependent on? Are you able to follow? The inefficiency of another is agitating you. You are dependent on? You are dependent on that person or the fruit that you want through that person. I want to profit, but all around me are inefficient. Therefore, I am not able to tolerate the inefficiency of another because the inefficiency of another is interfering with my result, is interfering with my expectation. What is my expectation? Yeah. At least I used to think. இந்த மாதிரி expectation அவருக்கு இல்லாம இருக்கிறதுனால தான் I used to genuinely, even today I think like that. How is Swami able to accommodate a person like me and all in work? I know how inefficient I am. I know that. You may think I am very இதெல்லாம் நல்லா பேசுறீங்களே சார், ரொம்ப ஹம்பிள் சார், உங்களுக்கு ரொம்ப ஹியூமிலிட்டி. It's not that. How is he able to do that? How is he able to accommodate the inefficiency? He corrects. It's not that he doesn't correct, but he is able to accommodate the inefficiency. Why? Because on the fruit level attachment illa. Even when he is correcting, he is only correcting my inefficiency considering my welfare. Not because my inefficiency is a block for his fruit. Are you able to follow? Even when he corrects my inefficiency only because for my welfare, not because my inefficiency is interfering with his attainment of the fruit. That is why doership என்றது எனக்கும் தேவையில்லை. I need not worry about how others are. I need not worry about how others are doing. Able to follow? Ever content, not dependent on anything, renouncing attachment to the fruit of action, not renouncing the attachment, or not renouncing the action, not renouncing the fruit. He is not renouncing the fruit, he is not renouncing the action, but he is renouncing the attachment to the fruit of action. That person says, though he is engaged in avipravruttaha, doing that which he ought to do 24/7 in the most efficient way, he says, I am not doing anything at all. So, yeah, we continue next week.